Hey students, I'm going to be reading to you an article or a short story, not an article, called Breathing Underwater. Okay, this is January 10th. Title is In My Worst Nightmares. I do not belong here. Picture this: 7 guys in a circle, like a prayer group or something, in a room that overlooks the Metro Rail train tracks. The walls are covered with nightmares, wild modern art that looks like those old John Carpenter horror movies on late night TV. The population is scarier. There's everything from a guy with pierced cheeks to a scrawny accountant type who looks like he made a wrong turn on the way to the Rotary Club meeting. We do have 2 things in common. First, we're all pissed about being in a family violence class. Second, I think I can go out on a limb, we're eyeing this guy across from me who's staring at the floor and ceiling, eating his fingernails to the nub, and rocking back and forth. And I try not to gawk. You never know what sort of weapons a psycho like that could have. But it's like a car wreck, or a girl with enormous breasts. You have to look. Now he's clenching his fists, shaking. I scan the room mentally, awarding the prize for most likely to kill someone in a traffic altercation. 6-way tie. Our instructor, a fat, cherubic-looking guy named Mario Ortega, explains the rules. I don't make many rules, he says. Those I do make, I expect followed. Arguments to the contrary you can take to the judge. He smiles quickly, like he's joking, but his eyes don't smile with him. Rule 1, he continues, is be honest. Without that, there's nothing I can do. Honest, says a voice. I don't do rules much. This comes from the guy, the skinny blonde kid 2 seats down. You know the type. Only an illegible tattoo keeps him from looking 9 years old. He runs a penknife under filthy nails. It sounds cliche to call him a redneck, except the back of his neck is at least bright pink. His face matches it. I'd bet there's a pickup truck with a gun rack out in the parking lot. You don't, do you? Mario asks. Well, if you have a problem, you can leave. Mario slaps a palm to his forehead. Oh, I forgot. You can't leave. I guess we'll have to open our minds, Mr. Mario checks his list. Mr. Kelly, I believe. Kelly's my first name, the redneck says, and I suspect from Mario's smile he knew that. Kelly stares at all of us, and I silently thank whatever deity was on the duty the night my parents saw fit not to give me a girl's name. No cracks if you know what's good for you. We don't put each other down here, Mario says, turning his attention back to the group. That's another rule. The rest are pretty simple, and since you've got no choice, you'll follow them. Next one is be on time. As if on cue, the door flies open. The guy who opens it looks in no particular hurry, like most of us in the group. He's about my age, but he's normal compared to the rest of them. Better than normal, maybe. Tall and dark. Take no crap walk. He apologized, his cool voice conveying no actual contrition, and sits by Kelly. How perfect, Mario says. I was just explaining my quirk about punctuality. Mario consults his list again. You must be our lost lamb, Mr. Sotolongo. Leo Sotolongo. Leo displays 2 rows of white teeth. I'll be good from now on, Teach, promise. Fine. Mario looks away before Leo finishes speaking. Rule 4, no drugs or alcohol. Rule 5, participate in class discussions. The psycho across the circle stabs the pencil into his palm. It must hurt, but he doesn't even flinch. I have no intention of talking. I have enough problems without some PhD deciding the reason Caitlin and I fought has something to do with my father using me for a punching bag all these years. That's an old story. Been there, done that. Heard it on Oprah. I figure the time spent here will be an excellent period to devote to serious thought, say, memorizing the periodic table of elements. The mountain of a black guy beside me, obviously a result-oriented individual, nails my feelings when he says, "We get a grade on this?" The rest of the group nods as one, except the psycho. He's still trying to impale himself on his number 2 pencil. Mario says, well, I guess it's pass-fail. You don't participate, I cut you loose. For your court-ordered people, that means starting over again, or face the consequences. The consequences being hard time. The big house, the pokey. Got the message. I nudged the big guy. Notice he didn't say how much we had to participate. He nods. That brings us to the most important rule. Mario eyes each face. I turn away. Sure, for a second he sees everything. I don't want him to. You will take responsibility for your actions. I'm not the court system or your girlfriend's, so I won't accept I was drunk as an excuse. If everyone who got drunk beat up on someone else, we'd all have black eyes every day, and being plain old pissed off is no defense either. If you think your girlfriend's the biggest slut in the world, leave her. Don't hit her. You are responsible for your violence. You won't get better till you come to terms with that. But what if it really wasn't our fault? The big guy echoes my thoughts again. How so, Mr. Johnston? It's Tyrone. My friends call me Tiny. Tiny weighs at least 250. His hair is shaved on sides. The sleeves of his Tasmanian Devil t-shirt are rolled back to expose his muscles. There are enough chains around his neck, his thick neck, to drown someone smaller. What kind of damage could a guy that size do to a girl? I mean, I'm the one who's abused in my relationship, Tiny continues, cracking his quarter-sized knuckles. Danielle might look small, but she's got the power. Women always do. I told her if she kept beating on me, I'd do her some damage. Finally, I had to bust her mouth just to show I meant business. He flops his palms onto his lap. They arrested the wrong person, but they don't care, as long as they keep us people in line, and they press charges even though Danielle told them we're engaged. I feel myself nod. I hear you, I say. Caitlin never hit me, of course. But what about mental torture? What about getting a guy so crazy he has to use his fists, hands, in self-defense? How'd you feel hitting her? Mario's voice comes through the crap in my brain. I didn't want to hurt her, Tiny says. But sometimes a man's got to stand up for himself, right? You said we're supposed to be honest. A voice cuts in before Mario can answer. The statement comes from the psycho. While Tiny was talking, the psycho's been doing some serious shaking. Now he looks up at us. What? Tiny says. He said we're supposed to be honest. I am being honest. Tiny straightens himself up to his full height. No, the psycho shakes his head a few times too. Too many. But he's too crazy to be afraid of Tiny. Not you, big guy. Me, because I don't know what that honest is. I don't want to tell a lie, but I don't know. He takes his head in hands, singing, I don't know. A tear oozes from each eye, and the guy to his right in his corner is on the corner of his seat. Mario comes between them, putting an arm around the psycho, shaking shoulder. What's your name, son? AJ, he manages before beginning to sob again on Mario's shoulder. Great heaving shudders, Mario whispers in his ear. I tune them out. Hearing them might make me like them. Several minutes later, AJ winds down and Mario turns to us. Anyone else feel like that? I'm on page 20 if you're following along. Like what? Kelly again. I have no idea what this waste case is saying. Mario shrugs. Like your life's a big act. Like you're trying to be a man and you're just a scared kid trying to keep under control when you really want to scream, cry, maybe hit someone. Ever feel like you're breathing underwater and you have to stop because you're gulping in too much fluid? AJ begins to sob again and Mario gestures toward him. This is what we were going to do anyway. What? Kelly demands, folding the penknife. Cry? Reflect on the errors of our ways that landed us here, Kelly. Ain't it obvious? We all hit our girlfriends. Class dismissed. Not me. Leo, the guy who was late, says, I didn't hit anyone. That's a laugh, Kelly says, snorting. Spicks all hit your women. Spick women think it's their mission to get hit. You mind repeating that? Leo's fists clench. Kelly sits up right. You telling me your daddy don't hit your mama? Before Leo can answer, Mario says, Enough! I know you're all tense, but that will be the last time we mention anyone's mother. Let's cool it with ethnic slurs, too. And if I don't, Kelly says, you'll be spitting out some teeth, Miss Kelly. Leo answers for Mario. Not that it won't be an improvement. And Kelly's on top of him. Leo's up in an instant later, one hand on Kelly's neck, holding him away from his body. He shoves Kelly into the wall. Chairs fly as we clear the way. Someone starts chanting, Fight, fight, fight. Others take it up. Kelly's gasping for breath. A vein bulges in Leo's forehead, but otherwise he holds Kelly like he's nothing. Mario steps between them, putting a hand on each of their shoulders and shouting, Calm down! His voice becoming softer as he eases them apart. I'll have no violence in my group, Mr. Sotolongo, Mario says when Leo finally sits. You're blaming me? Leo's voice is cold. Little turd attacked me. I know that. I also know your record and the charges against you. Man! I'll have no violence in my group, Mario repeats as the accountant bolts for the door. And then there were 7, page 22. It takes several minutes for everyone to calm down, but finally Leo's in a chair by mine and Mario's next to Kelly. Go on, Mr. Sotolongo, Mario says. You have the floor. That's it. I didn't hit anyone. What brings you here then? You know the charges, Leo throws back at him. I'd like to hear your version. My version? My girlfriend's parents hate me. Why do you suppose that is? Because I took it from her. It? Her virginity, he says. Mama and Papa wanted their baby to stay pure till she died, at least. Trouble is, she didn't want to stay pure. Laughs and nods from some of the group. I screwed up their plans. I must have threatened her, raped her. He tips back his hair. Bull crap. She sold me out. Lied so we wouldn't get in trouble. She wouldn't get in trouble. But I'll get Nasa to drop the charges. He smiles and flips his jacket collar, so I won't be coming here much longer. Leo scans the circle, his eyes finally meeting mine. Suddenly, I wish I was him, so calm, so confident, everything will work out. At least, I want to be someplace else, not laying my life open to these assorted losers. But that isn't happening, so I stand. I never hit anyone either, I say, trying to replicate Leo's cool. My relationship with Caitlin wasn't violent. It was darn near perfect. And you're here because, Mario says, when I shrug. He says, what does the court say you did? Start with your name. I run my hand through my hair. I'm Nick, 16, like I said. I don't know why I'm here. I lost it once, slapped my girlfriend, that's it. One lousy slap. I'm finished, and I start to sit, and Mario stops me. What's a slap, Nick? You know what a slap is? I'm wondering how hard you hit her. I shrug, but Mario's expression makes me answer seriously. Not very. A slap, like I said, open hand. Her face didn't turn red or anything. So you hit her in the face. No, I slapped her in the face. Look, I pace a few steps forward. Before I catch myself, I shouldn't have, okay? I know it. But she pissed me off this one time. Once. What was the fight about? On page 24. It was stupid. So stupid you hit her? Doesn't sound stupid to me. It doesn't matter anymore. She hates me. None of my friends are talking to me, including a guy I've known since kindergarten, because of one crummy slap. I sit. Mario still dogs me. Sounds like your life is ruined, Nick. Pretty much. Don't you want to make sure it doesn't happen again? Mario leans across the circle, but I avoid his eyes. I hear blood pounding through my ears. I do feel like I'm breathing underwater. I touch the amethyst ring in my pocket, the one I bought Caitlin. Whatever. The psycho AJ bursts into tears again. I try not to look because looking makes me hear my father's voice. The voice that's always telling me how bad I screwed up, what a loser I am. I can't deal with his voice. And when I look past the pain in my head, there's Caitlin after it happened. The trust and everything she had felt for me is gone. Over. Whatever, I repeat. I have to have Caitlin back. She's the only one who can silence the voice in my head.